Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be using our SuperDuos, and I do have about 4 feet of thread, and I'm using the size 8 crystal color dragon thread, and I do have a size 11 needle, and so I have 10 SuperDuos on my thread separated with an 11-0. Started with a SuperDuo, ending with an 11-0. Or you can start with an 11-0 and end with a SuperDuo, that's okay. So I have 10 and 10, and I'm just going to bring those all the way down to the bottom of my thread. And I'm just gonna go into a few beads just to kind of lock everything up. And then I'm gonna come out of a SuperDuo. And then what I'm going to do with my tail thread, I'm going to put it in through the other hole of my SuperDuo like that. Okay? So that'll kind of work kind of like a stop bead almost. Okay, so I'm coming out of a SuperDuo. Now from here, and if you want, you can go through all your beads again, through the rest of your beads here. And I'm just going to hop to the other hole of my SuperDuo, and then from here I'm going to add another round of, well, not SuperDuos, but I'm going to add my my QuadraLentils, and those are lentil beads with 4 holes in them. And you want to make sure before you use them that all of the holes are clear. Okay, so I'm going to pick up 10 of these to put in between in these spaces, but I am going to put an 11-0 before and after my quad bow. So 11-0, QuadraLentil. I think I call it a quad bow, but it's a QuadraLentil. Well, it's a 4-hole lentil, okay? So actually, let me get the correct name. Yes, it's a QuadraLentil. Okay, QuadraLentil. Okay, so 11-0, QuadraLentil, and 11-0. Now I'm gonna go through my next SuperDuo. I'm gonna pull. And again, 11-0, QuadraLentil. And at this point, it doesn't matter what hole you are using on your QuadraLentil, because it's the first hole we're using, so it doesn't matter. And now I'm going to go through my next SuperDuo. So this is what we're going to do for this round. We're just picking up an 11-0, a QuadraLentil, and then an 11-0, and putting them in these little spaces here. So here goes another one. And Allie's going to be a little bit shocked because I usually use champagne color seed beads, or my absolute favorite, my bronze colored seed beads. So I'm using this color, which is I think it's called Translucent Thistle. I'll check in a moment just to make sure I have the color correctly. Okay, so let's see what color. Yes, they're the Translucent Thistle, and they're so pretty. And I have so many colors of seed beads, and I keep using the same ones. So I really need to start using, other colors, because my seed beads are starting to feel bad that I just have them there. All right, so I'm just getting my tail out, and here goes another 11-0, QuadraLentil, and 11-0. And again, so this is what we're doing all the way around, and you will find that this project is also, if you're a beginner, you can do this, because although it does have quite a few steps. They're all simple. They're all easy. Ouch. There's no craw in this or peyote or any of the stitches like that. So this is very simple. I guess you would call this basic bead weaving. So it's pretty simple and it's fun. And we're just where we incorporate, you know, multi-hole beads. And when you do that, it just makes it easy to step up. And it's fun. It's fun to use them. Okay, so I'm almost done with this step. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off camera and then I will meet you back.
Do you want to get half-price kits every month? With the monthly kit subscription, you'll get 3 new kits for only $59.99, including free shipping. And you can pause or cancel your subscription at any time. Visit PotomacBeads.com/subscribe or click on the link in the description.
Okay, so I finished adding my QuadraLentils with the 11 nose on either side of it. Now I'm coming out of that same hole that we've been using right now. We're going to hop on to another hole of our QuadraLentil. And let me get close so you can see just the one on top of where you're coming out of. Okay, I'm trying to see if you can see this right. I don't want to be too, okay. You see where I'm coming out of, right? Right here. Let's hop on over to this one. Okay. This one. And then on this step, we're going to bring our QuadraLentils in when we add our little crystals. So see where I'm coming out of? I was here, wait, here, and now I'm up here. Okay. So now we're going to use our 15-0s and our little 3mm round beads. You can, for this step, if you don't have 3mm round beads, you can also use 2mm. I have done this project with 2mm round beads and it works just fine. Okay, so 15-0, crystal, 15-0. Go into your next QuadraLentil. And this is all we're going to do for this step. We're going to be adding our crystals with our 15-0s on either side of them and going through our QuadraLentils. So as I said, this is an easy step. This is an easy project. It does have a few steps to it, but none of them are difficult. So that's why I say that if you're a beginner, you can definitely do this. Okay, every now and then you might see my thumb in the way, but it's only because I have to hold my piece while I pull my thread, or else I really won't get a good grip and it'll be everything will be kind of loose. So, but all I'm adding again are is 15-0, crystal, 15-0, and going through my QuadraLentil. So picking up another crystal, another seed bead, and going through my QuadraLentil. Okay, so all the way around, adding your crystals with your seed beads, and then I will meet you back for our next step. Okay, so I added all of my crystals, and you need to be coming out of one of your crystals. And we're going to be adding some more beads, and we're going to go from crystal to crystal. So we're going to be adding 3 11-0s, going into our next crystal, 3 more 11-0s, going to our next crystal, and so forth. Now I'm going to use 2 different colors, but you don't have to. I'm gonna use silver, and again, my translucent color, and my silver. So three seed beads. And I just put it's not gonna stay, but I just wanted to see how it looked. So I'm going to go into my next crystal. And only your crystal. So add this all the way around, 11-0. And I'm using 2 colors. 11 and in through your next crystal. And do not catch any of your 15 O's that are on either side of your crystal, only your crystal. So 3 seed beads, and once again, very easy step, very, very easy. So I'm going to finish this and then I will meet you back. All right, so I added all of my seed beads. And now I'm going to add another round of seed beads, and I'm going to be adding 3 more seed beads again. So after I added my last round, I went through my crystal, and now I'm coming out of my middle seed bead of the 3 11 O's that I just added. So for me, that will be the pink one. And I'm going to go from middle seed bead to middle seed bead, adding 3 seed beads in between each one. And I'm going to be using my pink ones again because I think I have a little bit too much silver. So I'm gonna put some more seed beads here. And I'm coming out of my middle seed bead, which is my pink one. And I'm gonna pick up 3 more pink ones. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go, let me put my glasses on. I'm going to go through my next pink seed bead. Okay, even with my glasses on, I still can't see. All right, so there's my middle one. And now I'm putting these there. They're gonna kind of like be on top, but that's fine. We'll sew everything together after this step, and that will bring them down and they'll sit how they're supposed to. So 3 more seed beads. And I'm going to go into my next middle 11 O from my previous step, which is my pink one. And I'm going to pull my thread. So. And then when I'm almost done with this step, I am going to add my crystal. So here goes on another 3. And I'm pulling. That's still my tail thread that I have there. And then 3 more. Going into my middle seed bead from my previous. And I'm trying not to put this in my hand. I'm trying to leave it here on my mat. And then 3 more. When I get to about maybe my next grouping, I will add my crystal in the center. Of course, it will still be loose, but I just kind of want to get it ready because it's getting kind of snug. So there we go. And I'm going to add 3 more seed beads. Gonna go into my middle one, which is the pink. And 3 more. Going through my pink. Okay, here we go. So again, easy step, right? Not hard at all. So I love making projects that everyone can do. Every now and then I'll make one that's like a little bit more advanced, but for the most part, I like to make beginner to moderate type projects. 1, 2, 3. Next one. Okay. And then once I have all of these, I'm going to reinforce. And this is so crazy. I had just the right amount of pink seed beads. I literally used them all up. Okay, now I'm going to go in through this. Wait, where am I? Here we go, yes. This one here. And now I'm coming out of the middle one, And I am going to go through everything, through all of these seed beads again. Let me just check my piece. Okay, I'm going to skip my connecting one. You know how I was going through my middle seed bead from my previous grouping? I'm going to skip that one and just go through all of the groupings of 3 that I just added. So I'm going to do that now with these 3. And then the 3 after that. And so forth. And I'm going to do this 2 times. So go ahead and do that, or I'm going to do that and I will meet you back. Okay, I reinforced. I went through my middle 11-ohs twice, and again only through the groupings of 3. And so it's pretty tight. This is what you want. So now we're going to move back up to, we're gonna step back. I'm coming out of my grouping of 3. Just follow your thread path. And I'm going to go through this one. And you need to be coming out of your quadralentil. And then I'm going to go to this one here, this silver bead. And then I'm going to go through my crystal after that. And then the 11-oh after my crystal, and then through the quadralentil. So I'm coming out of my quadralentil and I'm going to hop onto this hole. We have 2 left, right? That we haven't used. All right, so hold on, there's 2 left that we haven't used. Here's where I'm coming out of. Right here, you can see. We're going to go into the one next to it, okay? So we only have 2 holes that we haven't used yet. And it's like, hold on. See? 1, 2, we're gonna go through the top one. And this next step is going to be super easy. And we're going to be using our 15-ohs again and our fire polish beads. And we're going to go 15-oh. Let me see. Let me just make sure. 15-oh, fire polish, and 15-oh. 15-oh, fire polish, 15-oh. Through our next lentil, quadralentil. Okay, 15-oh, fire polish, 15-oh. Through our next quadralentil. Easy step, right? So this pendant does have a lot of steps. It really does. But they're so easy. And then once you learn to make this pendant, it'll go by fast. Like the first time you do it, since you don't know what steps are next, it takes a little bit longer. But once you know what to do, it goes by really fast. So here we go. I'm gonna finish this, and once I'm done with that, I will meet you back. Okay, I finished adding my fire polish beads, and then I went in through my last quadralentil after I did that, and then I just turned from that hole of my quadralentil, I went down to the bottom hole, the one we haven't used that of our quadralentil, and that's where I'm coming out of. So now we're going to be using this hole, that one hole that we have left that we haven't used, and it's at the bottom of our piece. So now from here, we are going to be using more fire polish beads. We're going to be using our 15-ohs and an 11-oh again in between. It's going to go into our fire polish beads. This is the back side. It might be easier if you go in through the back side for this step. So I have coming out of my quadralentil, that last bottom hole you can see here. I put on my thread, a 15-oh. No, I didn't. Okay, I'm gonna do that now. And I'm going to go through my fire polish bead. And only the fire polish bead. And when we're coming out, we are going to add a fire polish, an 11-0, another fire polish, oops. So fire polish, 11-0 fire polish, going through the same fire polish bead, coming out of this side, going in through the other way, so we're circling around. And we're going to bring those 3 beads, which is our 2 fire polish, separated with an 11-0 on top. And then we're going to finish that little section by putting a 15-0 and going in through our QuadraLentil to go into our next little section. So that's what we did, okay? So 15-0, coming out of our QuadraLentil goes 15-0. Go through our fire polish bead and only our fire polish bead. Whoop. And then coming out of our fire polish bead goes another fire polish bead, an 11-0, a fire polish. Go in through this fire polish here on our piece, pull, and then to finish that little section out, pick up a 15-0 and go in through our QuadraLentil to go into our next little section. So this was an easy step again. So it's putting our fire polish on top of these, okay? So this is how it looks at the end, all right? So this are these, and then we're going to put crystals here in the middle. All right, so I'm gonna finish adding my fire polish beads and I will meet you back. Okay, I added all of my fire polish beads with the 11-0 here. So now what you need to do is when you add your last pair and you add your 15-0, sew through the next grouping the way, let's see, just sew through your next QuadraLentil and then come out of your 15-0 through your fire polish, up this fire polish and out that 11-0. So you need to be coming out of an 11-0 that's in between your fire polish beads, or in other words, one of the 11-0s we just added. So now we're going to add some more crystals. And I'm coming out of this 11-0 and I'm gonna add a 15 and another 11-0, my crystal, and another 15. So coming out of this 11-0, I added a 15, an 11-0, a crystal, and a 15. Now we are going to go through this 11-0 here, this fire polish here that's sitting there, and only the fire polish bead. And once we're coming out of it and we pull, just kind of make everything sit right, pick up a 15-0, go through your crystal and through your 11-0 after it, and I'm trying to get it, okay. Okay, so once I came out again of my fire polish, I added a 15-0, went through my crystal and the 11-0 after it. Now I'm adding another crystal. I'm going to go through this 11-0 that I started this step with. And I'm just gonna put everything nicely. And then I'm going to go down this fire polish. I'm going to add an 11-0 And then I'm going to go up my next fire polish and out through the 11-0 after that. And I'm going to do all that again. Now, don't pull too tight on this part. Just enough to where you put your 11-0s here in between them. There might be some thread showing, but we will fix that. Or if you really hate that thread showing, as I said, we are going to fix it. There might be a little bit showing, but if you don't like it, you can add a 15-0, an 11-0, and a 15-0 here in between. I'm not going to, I'm just going to leave it like that. And I'm coming out of this 11-0 up here again. So again, it's going to be 15-0, 11-0, crystal, 15-0. Now I'm going to go through this fire polish bead here and only the fire polish bead. And it's not hard, except when you're filming, that's when it's hard. And then pull, kind of fix everything so it sits nicely in place. Pick up a 15-0, go through your crystal and the 11-0 after it. And then after you're coming out of your 11-0, add another 15-0, and then go through this 11-0 on this side. See, on one side there's already a 15-0, so go through the other side so you can add a 15-0 on that other side. Like that. And now go down this fire polish. Whoops. This fire polish. And then I'm going to add an 11-0 again. And then I'm going to go up my next fire polish here. And I'm going to do all that again. So go ahead and do this all the way around. Okay, so I added my last embellishments. And then I moved on over to the last one where, well, not the last one, the very first one where I started. This was my last one, and then I added my 11-0 and I moved up to this first one where I started the embellishments. And I'm only coming out of the fire polish. Do not come out of anything else around there. You know how we have the 11-0 and that's part of this grouping, and we have the 15-0s, it's part of this embellishment. Do not go through anything. Come out of your fire polish only. And then this is what I did for a bail. I added a 15-0, a crystal, an 11-0, and then 7 15-0s. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle back through the 11-0. Well, let me just do this so I can see better. I'm going to circle back through the 11-0 only to make a loop. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pull tight so everything gets all nice and snug. And coming out of that 11-0, I'm gonna pick up another crystal, another 15-0, and I'm going to go through the fire polish only right next to it. So that's gonna be my little bail for my piece, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go through only through these 11-0s and the fire polish, and the 11-0s in between my fire polish. You don't need to go through anything else like your 15-0s, just the 11-0s. And then down the fire polish. And then here we are back in between our segments again. So through my 11-0 and up my fire polish. Coming out of my fire polish, go through that 11-0, down my fire polish, and don't catch anything else. And then go through this 11-0 that's in between our segments. All right, so continue doing that. And when you get up back here to your bail, reinforce your bail. That's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm going to drop down and meet my thread and tie a knot, and then we'll look at our piece together. Okay, so this is my finished piece. I went around and I put another thread, like I said, going down the fire polish and the 11 seed beads in between them, down the next fire polish, and then through these little 11 here in between my little segments. And as you can see, I do not have a lot of thread showing at all. So, you know, once you reinforce it, you know, it brings your piece together very nicely. So, and I did reinforce my little loop here at the top. And since this pendant already has a lot going on, I did not do a beaded chain. I just added it to a chain I already had, just a silver chain. So this is how it looks. And I was hoping it would show up better on this white background rather than this yellow. Well, I think it looks fine on either background. But this is how it looks. I think it's really pretty. I don't think it's hard to make. It does have quite a few steps, but they're all pretty easy. So this is what I have. And like I said, you can use 2mm crystals if you don't have 3mm crystals. Either or will work fine. So that's a good thing about this. Another, you know, fun thing about this pendant. Let's see. Well, this is what I have. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy making this, and thank you very much for watching.